Hello and welcome. Kerry here from Healing Humanity, the Power of a Proper Human Diet. And today we have our Thursday night carnivore questions. We're here to answer your questions. We're here to have some fun. We're going to do some giveaways as well. So before we get started, just to get the ball rolling, please get your questions ready early because last week we ran out of time and we weren't able to get to all of those questions. If you have a question or a testimony of healing, please post it right now in the chat with hashtag ribeye with your best question or your story of healing, eating a proper human diet. And we're going to do a drawing for a Healing Humanity shirt in color blue. So please get those questions going right away. Adam, Lynn, how's it going?
Fantastic, Kerry. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. I'm doing wonderful. We have Barb joining us as well. She's working. She's going to pop on here in just a second. Lynn, how are you? How's
great.
the new house?
It's going great. I'm trying to get someone from my house to pull our Wi-Fi extender because my connection keeps shutting down. We're in the new house, and I just wanted to show you. This is my front yard, basically, and we had our first deer sighting. And so I took and the ducks in the pond were all like running over to catch, say hi to the deer. So I had to do a screenshot, put it in my background. But that's what I'm looking out at.
Nice.
And my new house, yeah. So really enjoying being here. Have never lived out in the country before, and so this is great. We have had 5 little baby frogs come into the house. 6? Oh, apparently 6 because of all the in and out with our floors getting done, and we've had to escort them back outside.
Wow. 6 that you know of. You have a frog infestation.
I'd rather have frogs than snakes or spiders. So yeah. I'll take the frogs.
That's awesome. That's exciting. You got a lot going on.
Yeah. I'm in a construction zone right now. So.
All right. And we've got Barb should be jumping back in just a minute. All right, you guys ready to answer some questions?
Sure.
Let's see what we've got here. We got a couple comments. First, Uncle Charlie, Butter Bob. Yeah, did you guys see Butter Bob is back?
Yep.
Back on YouTube. I know about Butter Bob afterwards. So many people told me, did you ever hear about Uncle Butter Bob? But I didn't watch him before. I wish I would have because I probably would have found Carnivore a lot earlier. But yeah, it's great to see him back and doing some videos. We got Barb back. Barb, how's it going?
It's going well. Can you hear me?
Yay! We can hear you loud and clear.
We're winning.
Barb, how have you been?
I have been awesome until my microphone got possessed by something, but it's good now.
Yeah. I'm going to go get my extender for the Wi-Fi. I can't get a hold of anybody, and I keep having trouble, so I will be right back.
Sounds good. All right. So please post your best question with hashtag ribeye. Don't wait till the last minute. We ran out of time last week. And I'm trying to think, do we have any announcements before we jump into the questions? I know there's one. We are going to be at Meatstock. Here we go. Meatstock 2026. There's still tickets left. It's going to be one heck of an event. Everyone's going to be there. Dr. Barry, Dr. Chafee, Dr. Berg, Dr. Kiltz, Michaela Peterson. You can still get tickets, and if you use promo code Healing Humanity, you can get a discount. You can order those at meatstockconvention.com. And Healing Humanity is going to be there. I think we're sort of kicking it off. Is that right, Adam?
Potentially, yeah. It's still up in the air, and we're still trying to figure things out.
We'll definitely be there for sure. And several of the people that we filmed for the documentary will be there as well. So I'm excited. My mom's going to be there also. Emma's coming with too. So yeah, hope to see you guys out there and come say hi at Meatstock. It's going to be my first time going to Meatstock, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. All right, let's see what we got for questions. We got a couple comments as well. I just saw Kerry's video about MS. It breaks my heart how many people haven't heard or haven't believed enough to try. Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's just crazy to me that people are diagnosed with MS, and the thought of eating a proper human diet, getting rid of all the inflammation, just doing an elimination diet is so crazy to so many people. But then, yeah, I'll take pills that cost $70,000 and have who knows what side effects. I don't know. The purpose of my whole video was do whatever you want, do the medication, do the standard of care, but everyone should at least know that there's metabolic therapy and diet as an option as well. Oh, get rid of that one. We got a new member, Karen Grandfield. Welcome. And Frank Sherry, 2 new members. Nancy Chandler is asking, who is Butter Bob?
I don't know the answer to that. I'm assuming that he was doing some sort of a ketogenic diet back in the day. I know he was very popular. I heard about him all the time, but he wasn't active when I was hearing about him. And now that he is active, it sounds like he kind of fell off the wagon a little bit, and now he's back. But you guys know who he is?
I only know him as Butter Bob.
Yeah, that's the same for me. I've heard his name over and over again. People are like, do you know Butter Bob? Do you know Butter Bob? And I'm like, no, I heard he was like the carnivore guy before, but he's back now.
He's been around for a really long time. And I remember when I was years ago doing keto, I had watched his videos. But yeah, he had disappeared off the radar for a while. So it's good that he's back.
Yeah, I caught a little bit of a video he was doing the other day, and it was wonderful. So I'm subscribed. I'm watching. Butter Bob is back. It's exciting. Shelly says, I've been adding some carbs lately. I cannot sleep well when I do full carnivore, which I love. Any suggestions? Any suggestions for not sleeping well on carnivore?
Well, I would be curious to know. I mean, some people have that problem. And if you want to try something without supplements, I'd say try to eat some fat, maybe an hour before bedtime. Some people have some butter or something fatty that can help you sleep. If you don't mind taking a supplement, you can take magnesium glycinate, because if you prefer not to add the carbs back, then I would try either of those 2 things and see if that helps.
One thing I would like to add, Shelly, I want to make sure that you're eating enough. If you're wanting to add carbs in there, your body may need more energy. And so you may need to fuel yourself more. So you might just want to check in and make sure that you're getting enough protein and fat.
Absolutely. All right, good stuff. All right, our next question. This is from All for Jesus Carnivore. Question, someone gave me a bunch of meat and bacon that was raised locally, but the date on it is 3/10/2024. I'm eating one of the steaks grilled. It tastes good. What do you all think? For myself, I usually do the sniff test. I don't know how scientific that is, but that's good enough for me. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think, Adam?
That's exactly what I do. If it smells funky, then it's going in the garbage. If it doesn't smell funky, well, it's anybody's guess at that point. And, it's a toss up 50-50. But
Yeah,
it sounds like it was okay in your case.
Yeah, I won't eat it if it has freezer burn. Like if it was packaged really well and it doesn't have freezer burn, then I'm okay. But I'm also extra sensitive.
All right. We are taking your questions and we're doing some giveaways. So if you just jumped on, post your best question with hashtag ribeye. We're giving away a Healing Humanity shirt in just a little bit. Or you can post your testimony. We've got a question from Jacoby. How long does it take to start losing weight? I am a week in so far and nothing yet, just curious. What do you think on that one, Barb?
That is so individual. It really depends on the person and your body is adjusting. So if you're just a week in, there's all kinds of things that are going on and it's probably going to take a little bit of time. So I know that's probably not the answer that you want to hear, but just stick with it at least 30 days. Just stay with it. And I promise you, you will feel better. Now, whether the scale reflects things that quickly, you don't know, but I can guarantee that you're going to be pleased with the results.
Yeah, and I would absolutely suggest, since you're only a week in and haven't lost any weight, take measurements. And if you want, you can always buy a smart scale I have a Renpho Smart Scale that didn't cost me very much, maybe at $25. They have different models, but very often your body composition changes. And so just going by the regular scale isn't really that helpful. I know I put on muscle, I gained bone. And so measurements and getting something that will give you some more data, especially if you're really data driven, is really helpful. And it can be super encouraging because the scale may not move, but maybe you gain muscle and that's why the scale didn't move. If you start out, I'm just going to put a number out there. If you start out at 200 pounds and a week later you're 200 pounds, but you've gained 2 pounds of muscle, that means you've lost 2 pounds of fat. So scale never moved, but you're losing fat. So it's super helpful to just gather, that data, and it can help motivate you to see those body composition changes.
Yeah, great advice. And take comfort in knowing that oftentimes we're still healing if you're not losing weight. A lot of us are walking around with fatty livers or inflammation or other things going internally that we don't know. And it seems like the body really prioritizes healing before the weight comes off. But I've seen so many people comments on my YouTube channel throughout the last couple of years where they'll quit carnivore because the scale says 0, like Lynn just mentioned. And it's really sad because they've actually made a lot of progress. They've lost fat, they've gained muscle, gained bone density, their body's healing. They probably partially healed the fatty liver. They're getting rid of inflammation. They're reversing insulin resistance. And then they just give up because the weight only scale it can be very misleading for so many. So, all right. We've got Super at 60. I'm Darlene from Super at 60. I make low carb, good fat, simple suppers on my channel. I've lost 100 pounds and counting. Come join me. Blessings.
That's awesome.
Good job. 10-pound bowling balls gone. Rexman says, I only sleep 6 hours. What are you guys doing for sleep? Just out of curiosity. I remember Dr. Kiltz sleeps, I think, less than 6 hours. Wakes up and gets up early. I think I get a little more than 6 hours, but.
Yeah, I've been sleeping really well since it's super quiet where I live now. And also, unfortunately, since we had to put our dog down last week, I don't have a dog waking me up in the middle of the night. So I'm definitely sleeping really well. But when someone is only sleeping 6 hours, I would just, the question is, how much energy do you have? I mean, do you wake up tired? If not, that's awesome. If you're having good sustained energy all day, then that must be what your body needs.
Absolutely. I suggested this, I think, on the last call, but there's a guy that I followed for a couple of years now, Matthew Walker, who's a sleep expert. So if the 6 hours isn't doing it for you and you feel like you need more sleep, he's got some great tips on getting good sleep hygiene, a good sleep routine, getting rid of the screens before bed and resetting your circadian rhythm and things like that. So maybe check that out. All right. Hashtag ribeye. Any suggestions for ways to get kids some MCT in the morning? Any thoughts on that? Maybe Lynn?
Well, since I've never had little kids on carnivore, it would be just be guessing. My kids are all grown. My youngest is almost 30. But I mean, add it to whatever you're giving them for breakfast. If you give them bacon and eggs, if you make them scrambled eggs or something, add it to their eggs. I mean, I don't have little kids, so I'm not sure what else I would do. But I know it's really good for them, and it helps to get them into ketosis.
Yeah, I would agree. Whatever you're making, just try to mix it into it. You may have, if it gives it off flavor or something like that, maybe add a little bit of spice or something like that they can handle. But yeah, otherwise, maybe do what everybody else does and put it in their coffee. Only kidding. Only kidding.
Hey, it's Aaron Booby Goats. Here's a good one. We'll do a quick roundtable. What's for dinner tonight? I'm grilling out burger patties. I ate burger patties for dinner just before our earlier call, so I'm good for the night. But it was burger patties for me. What about you, Adam?
I am going to be having Sam's Club, the little ribeye slider patties when we're done here.
Barb, what about you?
I had dinner and I had some picanha and poached eggs.
What? Nice,
Coming to your house.
right? I think
I
Barb
have-
wins.
I
Barb, you
have-
got
So you
challenge. Lynn.
win. Yeah. I have no idea what I'm having for dinner because we have not been planning anything. I've been eating a lot of eggs because those are quick and easy. Sometimes we have burgers, but tonight I don't even know if we defrosted anything. We're too busy putting toilets in.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I already ate, but sometimes after this call, if I don't eat ahead of time, the other option would be an omelet. And my daughter Alyssa has become a professional omelet cooker, so it's been kind of a go-to late night. But I usually eat before this time and kind of done for the day now. So, all right, we've got Dale's Crochet Corner. I think we're talking about Butter Bob again. He was gone for 10 years, and while he was gone, his channel blew up to over 120,000 subscribers.
Wow.
He was in demand. He had to come out of retirement. Everyone's like, what's going on, Bob? That's awesome. All right. We're going to be doing the drawing for the Healing Humanity shirt in color blue for hashtag ribeye in just a couple minutes. We got My Journey to be Seizure Free. Partner and I have been on carnivore diet since January 1st and already feel my seizures and anxiety are becoming a lot less intense.
Love it.
Awesome.
That's
Wonderful.
awesome.
Amazing.
That's one of the cool things. Like people are, well, carnivore, that's sort of an unexplored area. Carnivore is just a really stricter version of keto, and keto diets have been used to treat seizures forever. So that's awesome. You're seeing healing.
Yeah. And in children, a keto diet for seizures tends to be really high in fat and lower in protein. So when it comes to seizures, you may have to have more fat.
All right, we got Kerry Hancock, hashtag ribeye. I went from keto to carnivore in June. I've gained 20 pounds. My satiety cues just do not work. How long until they do? What can I do? I'm tracking now.
All right.
Any thoughts on that, Barb?
Yeah, so I'd be interested to see what you've come up with in your tracking. And are you tracking macros or calories, or just curious about what you're tracking? There are a lot of different reasons that you may have gained weight. Going back to what Lynn said earlier about the scale not always being the best guide unless you have a smart scale. So there can be some body composition changes, but it sounds like you feel you're not getting satiated when you eat, or you're not sure if you're hungry or not. So again, I'd be curious about your meal timing and how much you're eating. I mean, I think a lot of people don't eat enough on carnivores. Sometimes it could be a case where you're taking in too much energy. But again, I would like more information before I can really give a good answer.
Yeah, I agree. We definitely need to find out like how many calories? And I know we hate talking about calories on carnivore, and most people don't have to, but if your satiety cues aren't kicking in and it's basically allowing you to overeat. And even though we're eating really dense nutrition, our bodies only need a certain amount of nutrients, and then there's excess. So your body's going to store the excess, even if it's carnivore. And so it may be that since you don't have good satiety cues, you may need to track calories, and you may need to come up with a meal plan and have less to eat, or you may need to move more so that your body's energy demand increases. So it would be just very interesting to get a little more information about specifically what you're eating. And also if it's for weight, if you really want to lose weight and not be gaining weight, you may have to have a little less fat. Some people need to just do 50 or 60% fat instead of 70 or more. So that might be a little tweak that you can do as well. But I have, everything that I've learned about satiety cues is that some people, it does take longer for your cues to kick in. And so be patient, and you may just have to track a lot. until that happens.
Yeah, at least with me, when I eat leaner meats like chicken or pork, I'm definitely much more hungry if I'm not having the fattier cuts. But yeah, like Lynn said, if you're trying to lose weight and you're having less fat and you still have the hunger issues, it may take some time for those hormones and to regulate, and
Mhm.
get back into a homeostatic state. So yeah, you just gotta. Everybody's in a one experiment, and
Right.
tracking, I think, is a really good place to start.
Yeah. And if you're a fast eater, maybe work on slowing down, because it does take time for your brain to communicate, your stomach and your brain to communicate that you're full. So maybe try to eat slowly and chew really well and see if slowing it down helps.
Good stuff. This reminds me of a conversation I was having earlier with someone. I'll often get comments on social media that I'm doing carnivore, but I'm having this problem. And I kind of responded back saying, carnivore is kind of a spectrum in some degree. You can really adjust the fat to protein ratio. You can go heavier lion diet versus carnivore, or having just chicken and things like that. So that's why it's good to have community. It's good to, some of these things you really have to dig into further versus just like, oh, I'm only eating meat and this isn't happening for me. Sometimes just only eating meat really isn't the answer. There's definitely a lot more nuance to it and a bit of a spectrum to carnivore, especially when it comes to the ratio of fat to protein and electrolytes and sleep and stress and all of those things. Which is why we have our membership site, healinghumanity.life. There's a promo code down below. You can get 50% off your first month if you're interested in joining. There's lots of free membership sites out there as well, but really, when I see people that are struggling on carnivore, it's often the number one reason is lack of community, because there is some nuance to it for sure. All right, I got a question from Tammy. Kerry, where is our video? So Tammy came on my YouTube channel. Yeah, what's going on? Let me get Alyssa on the line right now. My daughter Alyssa's helping me edit that video.
Yeah, blame it on your kids.
Exactly. I have no responsibility. No, it's completely edited, Tammy, and it's going to be going live early next week. I'm a little bit behind, but for those that saw the earlier video, Tammy is a self-admitted sugar addict dealing with fibromyalgia, all sorts of other health issues, and she decided a little over 30 days ago to go carnivore. And she had some great questions. And honestly, there were some cynical people that were doubting Tammy, and they're saying, she's too much of a sugar addict. She's not going to be able to do this. Like, they were kind of setting her up for failure. It was kind of brutal, but she proved them wrong. She's doing incredible. She's actually in our membership site, healinghumanity.life, but we just did that 30-day update video. It will be out early next week, and you guys can see just how well Tammy is doing and how everything's going for her. Oh, here's a good question for Adam. Can you have cheat days during carnivore?
Yeah, you can have as many
Adam,
of them as you want.
put your donut down and answer that question, please.
You can have as many cheat days as you want. Really, it's all based on where you are, what your goals are. It's would I recommend having a cheat day? Probably not. If I did have a cheat day, I would say, okay, maybe have some vegetables or something like that, and cheat in that way, as opposed to, having the stuff that really got you into the position that you're in right now. You really want to try to stay away from that stuff as much as possible. But on the flip side, every day that you're not eating that stuff is that many less days in a year that you're not eating that junk that you would have before. So I wouldn't look at it as a failure, but I honestly, personally, I would not plan to have a cheat day. Some people I do know, that they really need to do something like that. What about you, Barb?
Yeah, personally, no, I wouldn't do cheat days, but I agree. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I would just challenge you to think about any time that you're putting something into your mouth, is this promoting my health or is it going to take away from it? Just think about those decisions. And then, hey, if it's worth it and you really want something and it's worth it in that moment, okay, go ahead and do it. I mean, you can do what you want to do, but just keep those long-term health goals in mind.
right. All right. Hey, it's time to do our giveaway. Healing Humanity shirt in color blue. Here we go.
Do we have a drum roll?
The winner of a Healing Humanity shirt in color blue shipped to you is, hey, Grandma's Crochet Corner. Barbara, our good friend Barbara, who's also in healinghumanity.life. You have won a blue Healing Humanity shirt in color blue. Adam Workin, Barbara, aka Grandma's Crochet Corner, claim her prize.
Well, Kerry, Barbara, aka Grandma's Crochet Corner, can go to healinghumanity.life/giveaway, fill out the form, and Ashley, who is not here today, will promptly send you your shirt. Congratulations.
Congratulations. All right. I got the other one set up. We're going to do another giveaway. This time, we're going to be giving away a 30-day free membership so you can join Barbara and Tammy and Adam and Barb and Kerry and Lynn at healinghumanity.life with the 30-day free membership. Post your best question with #life or your testimony of healing with #life, and we will be giving away a 30-day free membership. And if you don't win the membership, you can get 50% off right now. Link on the bottom of the screen and in the description below. And you have to make sure that you are also following Lynn, Adam, and Barb on YouTube in order to win this. There are links in the description below. It only takes 2 seconds to follow each of them. All right, our next question. Actually, we have a comment from Jack Young Jr. Community goes a long way on carnivore way of living. So grateful for Healing Humanity and Steak and Butter Gal communities. #ribeye. Thank you, Jack. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Jack.
Okay, we got Jen. #ribeye, diagnosed with PCOS and infertility as a teen, now late 30s. Within 2 months of starting carnivore, my painful, irregular periods regulated. Now almost 2 years in, 60 plus pounds down, and trying to conceive. Wow, amazing.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Wonderful.
We love hearing these stories. Thank you for sharing that, Jen. Please don't be shy. Share your story of healing. That's incredible.
Yeah,
We
I wouldn't trade all my adopted kids for anything. But if I was in my 30s and knew about carnivore, because I had PCOS too, went through tons of fertility treatments, and so who knows? But I wouldn't trade it.
Right. We got a question from Eric. My LDLP is 3,200 and triglycerides 162 after 90 days. My doc wants to put me on a statin now. I've lost 40 pounds and I feel awesome. Any suggestions? Maybe we'll start with Lynn. What do you think?
My understanding is LDLP is the number of particles. And so it's not really complete information. I would need to have a little bit more information on if they did give you another breakdown of like how many the size is, because often what they'll do is they'll give you a total of, okay, you got this much LDL, you got this many particles. It's kind of a different measurement than a regular LDL. So I also would want to know, like, what were your triglycerides before you went carnivore? Because what they are now is elevated, but we don't know. I don't know. So if you have the information about before carnivore and those numbers, please put those in the chat so we can get a little more information. And the fact that you've lost 40 pounds and you feel great is really good, but we need to know which direction are things trending. And typically what happens with carnivore is triglycerides go down and the particle size of the LDL goes up. So I'd be curious, and also get information on statins, because the risk, you need to know the risk benefit. I know that this data shows that it can extend your life by a total of 3 or 4 days. There are definitely a lot of side effects, potential side effects. Not everybody has a side effect. But overall, your cholesterol is important. And so get the education, educate yourself about cholesterol, educate yourself about statins, and to make an educated decision about what you want to do. But I just fairly recently read about another study that mentioned that even people with familial hypercholesterolemia didn't do well on statins overall when they took a look at longitudinal studies, and they didn't live any longer. They didn't have any necessarily any benefit from them. And so dig in there and do some research. But if you do have extra info, put it in the chat.
One quick note on that too is triglycerides can be affected by coffee. So some people, it's 30 or 40 points higher just by drinking coffee.
Yeah.
Right. One last thing too, I'll just say is, you said you're 90 days in, which is pretty early, and there's lots of craziness that goes on. I've heard some doctors suggest waiting till you're like 6 months carnivore, but I've also heard people say that they'll get tests early on in their journey, and you could get a test today, a test tomorrow, and the test the next day and get drastically different results. So there's other tests you can do that may help influence your decision. Ultimately, it's your decision whether to do the statin or not, but you get advanced lipid panel, you can get your CAC score done. So there's definitely some other things too that you might want to look into before. I personally was on a statin for like 15 years, and I wish I knew about those other tests that were available. I have since had a CAC scan. It cost me $50, took like 10 minutes. I've also had my advanced lipid panel done, and that gave me a lot more, I think, important and valid information to make a decision about whether or not to go on a statin, which is oftentimes something that people end up on for the rest of their life. It's really a big decision. So use all of the tests that you can at your disposal would be my suggestion.
Yeah. And there are people whose triglycerides go up on carnivore and have to do less dietary fat. And so if that is you, that might be the solution. But again, hard to say. You need to be able to know the trends, what's going on with the before and after.
All right. Question for Barb. How can carnivore help with ADHD, or can carnivore help with ADHD?
Yes, I know a couple of people with children who are ADHD that have gone carnivore that have seen improvements. Again, I would say eliminating all those sugars, is a great thing. Our bodies don't need carbs at all. They're not essential. And ketogenic diets, which Kerry alluded to earlier, are the most well-studied, over 100 years of studies on these diets, originally designed for children with epilepsy, but also other brain conditions have seen tremendous benefit from carnivore. So I believe that it will help.
Yeah. And it has to do with glucose metabolism and insulin in the brain. And there's pathways in the brain that sometimes don't process glucose very well. And so getting ketones as the fuel for the brain cells can really help with a whole bunch of different mental conditions. And it's a matter of, just like every other cell of your body, your brain is the same. The cells require energy, and you need to give it the right fuel that it needs. So ketones can absolutely help with the brain.
All right. We still have, we're doing a giveaway for the 30-day membership to healinghumanity.life. For those that just jumped on, post your best question with #life. We've got Smoothie 420, excited for tomorrow when my Healing Humanity t-shirt arrives. Oh, that is awesome. Thank you so much. I've got mine on right now. The proceeds from that go to help our Healing Humanity efforts. We're finished filming the documentary. We're hoping to move on to the series, and we got a lot of promotion to do around the documentary. So thank you for your support there. We really appreciate it. Anyone's interested in picking up a Healing Humanity shirt so you can be one of the cool kids, you go to healinghumanity.movie, and there's a merchandise tab right there. Okay, question for Adam. What do you do for constipation?
Well, I haven't had that problem, but if I did, I would probably try consuming a little bit more water and or upping your fat intake. That can sometimes help with that for sure. Sometimes people also in this situation, and we get this question a lot, and most of the time that we've discovered it's actually not constipation. And I'm sure Lynn could talk about this a little bit more, but constipation, you're actually going to be having pain and other issues with constipation. So when you go on a carnivore diet, you're naturally going to go to the restroom less because your body is absorbing all of those nutrients that you're consuming. You're not consuming things like fiber, which is essentially just wood pulp. Your body can't do anything with it. So it has to get it out of the system. So you're constantly going to the restroom. So yeah, Lynn, do you got any comments on that?
Yeah, I mean, if it's true constipation, so with true constipation, you're uncomfortable, you have abdominal discomfort, you may have some distension. And when you do finally go, you may need to strain, or the stool itself is hard. So I would definitely define that as constipation. So if you're uncomfortable, and you can absolutely try adjusting your fat, make sure you're getting enough sodium, make sure you're getting enough fluid. You can try taking magnesium citrate. The citrate version will help. It kind of acts a little bit like a laxative and kind of mess with the dose there. But one thing that you can try, which is very doesn't require taking any medication, is you can try putting a little castor oil either in your belly button at night when you go to bed, or you can use a castor oil patch just like over your liver or even over your lower abdomen and sleep with it at night. And there is the type of fatty acid in castor oil actually triggers smooth muscle contraction. And it actually also works with your parasympathetic nervous system. You need to have a good parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest phase of your nervous system, in order to have your bowels moving. And so that can actually help with that. I definitely have found that even though for me the magnesium doesn't work as well, that the castor oil either in my belly button or on my abdomen at night actually is wonderful for triggering a bowel movement.
Good stuff. All right. Here's a question for Lynn specifically. Hi, Lynn. I'm struggling with histamine intolerance, trying to stay on carnivore, but keep slipping up with sweeteners. It feels very restrictive. Any advice would be appreciated.
Yeah, so those are kind of two different things, because the sweeteners aren't necessarily a histamine issue. It sounds like the sweetener issue is more of just kind of that sugar addiction kicking in, and which I completely understand. And not everybody has a problem with the sweeteners, but if it's causing you to slip up, I would definitely encourage you to avoid them. But it can feel extremely restricting. Unfortunately, it may be something you just need to do. I would tap into community, because there's a lot of us that share in the struggle. We have a breaking addictions group on our membership site. I have written the material for it. There's my book, Breaking Addictions, is available on Amazon. It's based on the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. It is designed to go through in a group, but you can go through it just on your own if you need to. I would say community is the best thing, because you are not alone in this struggle. There are so many people, but defining why you want to get better can be helpful. And if you have a really strong motivation to heal and to get better, it can help you to avoid the sweeteners. Find something else to do when you're dealing with a craving. Eat some fat, and substitute fat whenever you want sugar. Maybe eat some butter, have some bacon, have other things that you can eat when you have that craving. And then also, if you have cravings in the evening, find something else to do with your hands instead of trying to go for food, and see if that will help.
All right. We've got a question for Barb from Carnivore Cheer, Lori. I see that beef sticks are becoming more popular at the stores. What do people think of them as long as the ingredient list is clean?
Go
Well,
for it.
Yeah, if it's a clean ingredient list, but I will say that, and Lynn can better explain this, that sometimes that those processed meats, people with histamine intolerances may not do as well with them. And also watch for, even if the ingredients appear to be clean, if you see things like natural flavors, there's some things in there we really aren't sure of. And if you're super sensitive, like I have some autoimmune issues and I have to be really careful with those. There's only one or two brands of beef sticks that I can eat, but I would definitely say try them if the list looks good, and it's definitely a convenient snack.
Yeah, and watch for the sneaky sugars that like to creep into those things that have a zillion different names. And also, celery powder is really commonly used in processed meats, and it's tends to be marketed as healthier because there's no nitrates. But one of the fairly recent thing I learned is that the celery powder actually contains more nitrates than the nitrates that typically are even added to processed meats. So it's kind of deceptive. It's like you think you're making a good decision because it says celery powder and it says nitrate free, but you're getting more nitrates with the celery powder than you are with just things that have nitrates in them.
The power of marketing.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Rexman 1984 says, do any of you still sleep 4 hours, get up for a couple hours, and then go back to sleep? I'll take that one quick if anyone else has any thoughts. I have had that happen from time to time on Carnivore. But when I'm dialed in, for me in particular, I find it's an energy expenditure thing. If I work out or do some yard work or go to the gym, I sleep through the night. I've kept very good records of this. And if I'm more sedentary and I'm just sitting here doing live streams and things like that and don't get exercise, I'll often wake up. I've also since, for the last couple months now, I've had a red light that's really helped me sort of reset the circadian rhythm and just really dial in the sleep. When that does happen for me and I wake up, when I fall back asleep, I love it because it's like I call it the second sleep. It's really, really good. I've gone down this rabbit hole too. There's a lot of evidence that humans, since the start of time, were biphasic sleepers. Almost all of us did sleep that way. So it's kind of interesting when we go back to what is deemed ancestrally appropriate. We start sleeping like our ancestors probably did. It wasn't until the Industrial Revolution where we had to have this certain set number of hours to be working that we switched to this just one block of time sleeping. But I get it. People have jobs and you can't be waking up in the middle of the night and sitting around doing nothing kind of thing. But I don't know. Anyone else have any other thoughts on that one?
It doesn't happen to me, but I know that it does happen to a lot of people. And some people will eat fat and the fat can help them go back to sleep a little sooner. So that's a possibility if it's a problem.
Yeah. All right. Question for Adam from Christine. Any of you taking iodine had any issues?
I do not take iodine. And yes, I did have issues when I did take it because I read Dr. Brownstein's book on this, and he suggests, 50 milligrams a day? Is that what he suggests, Lynn?
It varies. He gives 50 milligrams for people who are really ill.
Right.
He said the vast majority, I think he said something like 90% of his patients needed at least 25.
Yeah, well, I tried the 50 and was not a good result. I essentially broke out of the hives, and this happened multiple times, so I know specifically that it was from the iodine itself. So definitely in this area, this is something that I would recommend that you get blood work done to know if you actually need to take iodine. Usually most people can take it in really, really small doses and be okay. But personally, I wouldn't mess around with it. If you're guessing that you need it, you should probably get blood tested and see if you actually need it or not, because it can really cause some issues for you.
And I would recommend the iodine loading test, which is actually a urine test. that's going to be a better indicator of deficiency than a blood test is going to be. So you can order those. There's a couple labs. Just look up iodine loading test. There's a couple labs. It's not that expensive. I mean, I think it's about $70, and they'll send you a kit. And you can do it at home.
Good stuff. All right, Barb, Ann is asking, do we need phytonutrients and antioxidants like vegans assert?
I do not believe that we do. I mean, those are plant defense chemicals. And again, since there are no essential carbohydrates, that means there are no essential plants or nothing that we absolutely have to have from plants. So I would say no.
Yeah, not from plants, but amazingly, our body produces its own antioxidants. So, and you can get antioxidants in a carnivore diet. So the phytonutrients is definitely from the plants, but there's no actual evidence that we need them.
Right. And I'm over 1,000 days carnivore. I know me personally, I don't need them. I don't want them and I don't need them. I haven't had any, and I'm doing better than I ever have my entire life. So
yeah, antioxidants, yes, are important, but you don't have to get them from plants.
Oh, earlier we were talking about ADHD. We have Christy from Meeting Wellness. Christy's awesome. She's got a great YouTube channel. My son has been carnivore for 2 years now, specifically because of his ADHD. He is doing fantastic. Symptoms way down, especially emotional dysregulation. Thank you, Christy, for sharing. The person who was asking about ADHD, check out Christy's channel at Meeting Wellness. She's got some great YouTube videos on the topic as well. All right, question for Lynn. Thomas, target prime rib. Most likely no one can answer this except for Lynn, but I'm having trouble with my fingers. Thomas is having trouble with his fingers the past few weeks, closing his fingers. Any ideas on that one?
You know what? I should know this, and off the top of my head, you're right. I don't remember what the source of the problem is. I would absolutely be looking at hydration to start out with, but I would look at electrolytes. But it's one of those things that I would go get some tests done with the doctor, and because I can't remember off the top of my head specifically what the problem is.
I think he did make a comment saying that he's going in next week to get that checked.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Jazzy Mama, Homestead Hall, where did you get a CAC test for $50? Locally, I have to pay $125. So I literally just Googled CAC scan near me, and the second one I called, it was $50. I went in, it was 15-minute. I have since learned that is on the lower end, but I've heard it's not uncommon even for $75 or $100. I guess it really depends on what part of the country you're in. I think when I talked with heart surgeon Dr. Philip Ovadia, he was saying right around $100 is kind of average in the U.S. It's again, if it would have been like $500, honestly, I still would have been happy because I spent 12 years on statins, and who knows how much all of those copays and doctor visits and all those side effects and all of that added up to. So, all right, Bride Biscuit says, my daughter is doing a health assignment, answered the question. What is the most important thing you learned about nutrition? With everything I've been taught has been a lie. So proud.
That's great.
Love it.
I would be proud too. That's awesome. Okay, Adam, what are your thoughts about drinking herbal tea?
Well, I would rather put water in an ashtray and drink that than drink tea. So I'm probably not the best one to ask this question because tea is probably one of the grossest things on the planet for me. So personally, I wouldn't drink it. But a lot of people can drink it and not have issues. So some things to look out for, obviously, are oxalates that's in tea and also caffeine. So those are two things that I would definitely, make sure that you're paying attention to if those are affecting you or not. What about you, ladies?
I mean, it could be therapeutic. I mean, plants are medicine. And so there can be times to drink herbal tea. But I think for somebody who drinks coffee, I don't know that tea is any worse than coffee, except the oxalates for sure. But, you can get decaffeinated tea. I think that if that's something that if it's better than a lot of the alternatives. if you're going to be wanting to go out and drink like hot chocolate, I'd say, yeah, drink tea. It's much better.
Right.
All right. Oh, we got a super chat. Lori, don't do that. Thank you, Lori. You don't have to do that. We really appreciate it, though. Question, is eczema a form of inflammation? What do you think, Lynn?
Absolutely. Yes, it is. And eczema is one of those illnesses that is kind of like teetering on the borderline between what they believe is autoimmune versus not autoimmune. There's people who say, yeah, I think it's an autoimmune disease. Other people, they're not quite sure. But it's, whether it is or not, it's still inflammatory. And a lot of it has to do with your own gut integrity and how your gut is doing.
All right. Thank you, Lori. Appreciate it. Okay, we've got a question. Since Kerry mentioned red light, I'd love all 4 takes on how you use it, if you do, and why. So nothing is better than just getting natural sunlight in the morning, but I'm full of excuses today. And because I live in Wisconsin in winter, it doesn't happen for me all the time. So I've got my red light on in the morning, kind of brighter. And then before I go to bed, kind of a little dimmer. There's a little adjustment on it. And just to kind of mimic what our ancestors would have done, I probably would have been sitting around a fire or candlelight or something like that. That's how I use it. It's been great so far. I don't know. Anyone else? Adam, do you use a red light?
I don't, but I'd be interested to know which one of your ancestors sat by a fire and had a red light on.
It was my Uncle Bob.
Okay. Butter Bob. Yes.
Yeah.
Got it.
What about you, Barb? Do you use a red light?
I do not have a red light at home, but I have used it in my chiropractor's office therapeutically for inflammation. I would love to have red light. I think it's a great therapy.
I have a red light lamp, and it actually naturally boosts melatonin, so it can help you get to sleep, maybe 10 minutes just on your face before you go to bed. It can be very helpful. It also is purported to help with fine lines and skin. I'm waiting to see if that is going to happen or not.
Good stuff. All right. Trying to power through here. If we don't get to all your questions, I apologize. We do have healinghumanity.life. We do 12 Zoom calls a week. We do Q&As, and we can answer in more depth and more detail there. Question from Joyful Spirit. Homestead, how can you make a video on how to make bacon without nitrates or celery powder? Yes, I'll do that right away. No, I did a video a while back where I just bought pork belly from Costco and smoked it, and it was delicious. So, yeah, we'll have to do another video. I'll ask Emma if she'll work on that one next, because I already did one. It was a couple of years back, though. Nancy, our friend Nancy Chandler, question, what is the best comeback to vegans saying the majority monocropping is to feed cattle and vegans are not the problem with killing excess animals? Kerry, oh, that's for me. My comeback is, I don't believe it. My comeback is, if you go in Wisconsin, you go up in the air, there's cornfields everywhere because we live in a broken system and it shouldn't be that way. My comeback is also to vegans is that's not what I'm advocating for. My neighbor's a 6th generation farmer. You drive by the cows naturally grazing in the field. It's the most beautiful natural thing in the world. The cows are eating grass, which is the cow's intended diet. And that's really what I'm advocating for. And that's what the cows should eat is their natural diet, and humans should eat their natural diet. So that's my argument back to vegans. The majority of monocropping is to feed cattle and vegans. I'd also love to just see the whole thing change. Like I said, I fly my drone up in the air and it's just miles and miles of cornfields. We should replace those with grass and just have cows naturally grazing and change the system, because it's currently, the way it's set up now is just broken in my opinion. So, all right, we are at the end of the hour already. We still got to do another drawing. So we're going to do the giveaway right now for 30 days free on healinghumanity.life. Here we go. Drum roll, please. The winner of a Healing Humanity 30-day free membership is Steadfast 20-4-26. Adam, how can Steadfast 20-4-26 claim their prize?
Well, Kerry, Steadfast 20-4-26 can go to healinghumanity.movie/giveaway, fill out the form, and Lynn will promptly send you your code for 1 month free. Congratulations.
Congratulations. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Before we wrap things up, Adam, at Carnivore today, do you got anything new or exciting coming up you want to mention before we wrap up?
I do not. Meat stock. So use code Healing Humanity for $50 off. It's meatstockconvention.com. And that's our next biggest major thing we got going on. So we definitely want to see everyone there.
Come on out. Barb, No Carb Barb, anything new coming up?
So I have an interview coming out tomorrow with someone who has lupus, and it's really great. And then also want to put out there the cholesterol code showing on April 13th that Jenny Middich is hosting. So that's up in Chicago area. So if anybody's up there, I believe there's still tickets available. If you just Google that, should come up with it. And that will be a great show.
There we go. I got the graphic. I forgot. Monday, April 13th. Yeah, join us out there. Awesome. And Lynn, are we going to see any videos of the new house coming up at Midlife Carnivore?
Yeah, as soon as I can. I am gonna. I've been filming, and it's just a matter of making sure I've got my internet really worked out and solid, so that I can actually compile a video and get it uploaded. So
Send it to Katie.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
She's already behind. They're falling behind. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We do these every Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we hope to see you on the next one. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
For now.